Hello, lovely people. It is a nice day here at the meeting place of heaven and earth. You can maybe see Mount Shasta there behind me in the distance. Thankfully, not so foggy today. The sun's out, the birds are fluttering around happily. So that's joyful news. God and Goddess, thank you so much for this lovely day and all the blessings that you have given us. Please help us to plant seeds effectively and uplift ourselves and others out of this darkness that we have all stumbled into. Please help all of us come together and unite in perilous times. Prepare us for the things that are ahead and help us to better counteract them by awakening our fellow brothers and sisters. In the name of Elohim, I pray. Amen. Today, use my other phone, it's a little easier, is Heritage Day, and the noontime peace contemplation is our God and Goddess, immanent and transcendent. Send to all your angel of peace. May wisdom guide us as we accept or reject things from the past. May your angel of wisdom bless all that we pass on to the future. Such a great prayer, especially if you are like me and want to be a parent in the future. It is so important what we pass on to future generations and all of the trauma and the pain that we have experienced, healing from that and dealing with it so that we can show up in healthy ways that don't cause future generations to be, completely out of balance and unhealthy. We're not really taught in school at all how to handle our emotions and heal from conflict and pain and deal with conflict resolution and different things like that deliberately on purpose, because they ultimately want us divided and conquered. And yeah, there's agents at work in all different ways. One of the things that I wanted to talk about was last night I went on to Mark's show and was insulted and attacked and silenced again, and completely unprovoked. As soon as I went into the room and Rebecca Ford saw that I was in the chat room, they literally started attacking me and did not stop until I left the chat room. And who knows even after that, because I wasn't there to see what was going on. And this is even after both Mark and DJ told the chat not to argue, like to play nice and all of this stuff. And it's just kind of really frustrating because this person just goes on for an hour lying about me, and I blocked them, so I'm not interacting with them. I'm not feeding into it. I actually respect the fact that it was Mark and DJ's show, and I'm not going in there and starting to argue with people. Yeah, what I'm saying is controversial, but if you actually look through the comments, I'm like laughing at what they're saying, and I'm trying to engage with people and not like going in with that kind of energy. So it's really frustrating that, again, I got silenced at the end, even though this person is allowed to keep going. And it was also really frustrating. Carol with the K from the International Truth Expo. Gosh, I'm so glad that I didn't waste my money to drive down there to support what you had going on. Like, I'm very angry at you because of the fact that you tried to silence me and you sat by. You guys all pretend to be Christians and you're attacking me and lying about me and just being outright demonic. And then you come in and try to tell me to be quiet. You sit by as someone is doing something unjust and unrighteous, and you want to try to pretend like you're a Christian. Any of you, all of you that are involved. I was much happier before getting re-involved with the Flat Earth community, and yeah, I'm very angry. But one of the things that Rebecca was attacking me on, there's just a lot of baseless claims that, like, again, I'm not trying to engage. I have them blocked, so I'm not sitting there arguing and trying to defend myself and stuff, but there are a lot of claims made against me that are outright lies. And one of the things that I just wanted to clear up was they're asking if Inanna is my real name, and I covered up the information that I didn't want you to see, but you can literally see that Inanna Snow is my name on my ID. I wish that it wasn't a California ID. I had a really awesome ID that was from Arizona that didn't expire till 2058, but I lost it. So anyways, I am trying my best, and it is really frustrating when people that, especially people that claim to be Christians, start attacking and lying and doing all of this stuff. And I'm gonna try to just let it go and forgive them, but I'm not getting involved with that anymore. And yeah, it's kind of hard to separate any of the people from what's happening, because it's just like, yeah, it's, I don't know. I guess that's all I really kind of want to rant about that, because I don't want that energy to exist in my life. Like, I literally have been a flat earther for 10 years and wasn't a part of the community the whole time. And I was happy as a clam, is how they say. Happy as a cow in a cow sanctuary that's not being tortured anymore, right? Like, really, really happy. And then I get involved with these people, and then I start getting attacked, and yeah, so I just don't need it anymore. David D says it was relentless. Rebecca is obsessed with you. And Rebecca even got their husband to come in and start attacking me as well. It's just like, listen, if what I'm saying isn't for you, let it go, walk away, be a mature adult, and stop like, stop this. Especially trying to claim that you're Christians. Like, that is like the thing that makes me the most mad, is that these people are on this like non-vegan high horse, trying to pretend like they are rebuking me for bringing false doctrine and all of this stuff, while they are literally lying about me, gossiping, and preaching a false gospel themselves. And I just have to pull myself back and be like, okay, I am of higher consciousness than them, and I have to understand that these are little children that are broken and lost, and they are very programmed and deceived, and they're attacking me because they don't know any better. It's like I went in and told them that Santa Claus wasn't real, and now they're throwing a big temper tantrum and trying to, I hate you, you're fat, you're ugly, like a little child does when you go in and upset them, and upset their reality, instead of, sitting there rationally and having a discussion about it. And then the audacity, this person tried to tell the chat that I was the one that didn't want to have friends, and like wanted to, keep all of these walls up. Of course I'm going to keep walls up against you, Rebecca, because you are not a nice person. And I wish nothing but the best for you. I really wish that you will heal, because you need it. So do I. But I'm not going to say anything mean to you, because you're already so far down that I cannot help push you down any further. I just want to help uplift you, because it's sad. Artist says, in my opinion, people who cause drama like that and push people like you away, those people are often afraid of open-minded, smart people who could maybe expose them for underhanded people they are. Well, yeah, I definitely see that as well. And the religious programming is very, very much a part of it. So yeah, it was kind of funny, because I am like not going in there and like, yeah, sure, my name says Queen and Honest Snow on here, but I'm not like going and be like, hey, everybody call me the Queen and all this stuff. Like, but Rebecca was trying to say that I am not humble, and like using stuff that I said in the interview with Strange World to try to attack me, like saying that like I said before, that I used to want to be famous when I was a kid. I wanted to be a famous praise and worship leader. I didn't want to be like a famous model or something that was, hey, everyone, look at me. I literally wanted to be a praise and worship leader that was famous, so that I could use my talents and gifts for God. So for you to use that against me, and then another thing that you try to use against me was saying that I don't have any friends. Well, why would I want friends if they are like you? Thankfully, I do have some good friends here. But yeah, for the majority of the people in this world, like, quantity is not better than quality. Quality is better. I would rather have one single person walk beside me than a whole crowd of people that apparently that's what you want. I'm not here to have a popularity contest, because I know that the truth isn't popular. If I wanted to have a popularity contest, I would stop saying controversial things. I would just maybe make some ASMR. Is that how you say it? MSR. What are you, hey everyone, here's my creaking noises on my microphone, and like doing stupid stuff that low vibe people and low intellect people will flock to, because that's the kind of stuff that they want. Like, I understand full well how to be popular, and that's not what I'm going for. ultimately, I mean, I do want to unite people and bring all of us together, but it's not like, hey, come and unite under me. Like, my goal is not about me at all. I want to just change the world. And honestly, I don't want to have to deal with all of the crap on the other side of having to like run this place and deal with all of the complaints and all of the peoples and all of the lack of appreciation, all of this stuff that like an actual like government and rulers actually have to do in this world, because people aren't really like the most pleasant to deal with all the time. So yeah, this isn't, none of what I'm doing is about me. Realistically, for me, it's like, okay, I want to be a mom, and I'm like, okay, this nest is not safe. So what do we have to do to make this nest a better place so that I can have a child? That's my ultimate drive as a soul. That's me and what I want. So anyways, hey Dave. Dave says, tell them they claim to be something they clearly are not true followers of Christ. They lack understanding of any deeper spiritual concepts. Absolutely. And as you well know from meeting me, even before the Megillah, I was very abrasive and more aggressive. Like right now, I am kind of coming off a little bit aggressive, but I'm upset and irritated, and I'm not taking this energy to go and interact with people like to convert them. I'm sitting here just expressing myself and telling you whatever. So anyways, you know me from before and how abrasive I was and all of this stuff. And it's like, it doesn't work. It pushes people away no matter how nice. Oh, Jesus loves you. You're saying like nice things, but the way like Jesus loves you, so you better accept his salvation gift. You're going to go to hell forever. And like, I'm going to laugh and be excited as you burn. Like that's their energy. And it's like, oh, I want the complete opposite of that. Like my favorite story from the Megillah so far. Well, I guess I shouldn't say favorite, but I guess if I had to pin my hat on one teaching that I absolutely love, it is when Yeshua received his pentagram necklace and the teachings of kindness, because I think that is so important. And I literally love that so much that I got a pentagram necklace to try to remind myself and really embrace the teachings of kindness. And yeah, I don't know why I got off on that tangent, but that's the way that we can bring people into the truth of all of the different ways, not just the spiritual truths, but like flat earth and the inverts running our world and all of these other things. The way that we deliver it is really, really important. And man, thank you, people in that chat room, for showing me exactly how not to be and giving me a lesson on how not to act as an ambassador of the Christ family. Like, and also maybe it's karma from my previous actions. Okay, lesson learned. Like I'm good, but I'm good. I'm good on you people. Like, hey Kyle. Kyle says many hugs. Thank you. Yeah, it's been kind of a rough morning, and it was rough last night too, because even as it was happening, it's like they said be nice in the chat, and then as soon like this person just completely ignores them and goes to town attacking me, and then I, don't, the previous live stream I got banned for not playing nice, but this person is allowed to not play nice for over an hour, lying about me, attacking me, just going on unnecessarily, unprovoked completely. And none of the moderators do anything. Everything is a-okay. As soon as I say I would never present at Carol with the K's freaking Truth Expo, then I got banned. And maybe that's why, because I told Carol that I would never be a presenter at her thing, because I am not a fan. Let's just put it in the nicest way possible. There's been multiple times that you're all like, hi, Anana. And then 2 minutes later, you're like, there's a demon in the chat. And then you're like, hi, Anana. And then quit with this crap. Like two-faced nonsense that I do not like. That's actually why I didn't say hi to you in the chat. I came in yesterday and said hi to everybody else, and I ignored you on purpose because I don't like the way that you interact with me. I don't like two-faced stuff where you're just like, hi and on it to my face. And then as soon as someone else says something mean, you jump on the bandwagon to agree with them. That's not okay. That's not civilized Christian behavior. Anyways. Hey, Jeffrey, how's it going? Jeffrey says flat earth community. Yeah. It's been It's been quite a joke. ASMR flat earth, yes. And today we're gonna go out and be under the crepuscular rays, and I'm gonna crinkle some candy wrappers in your ears. It's really sad actually, because the powers that be want to deliberately dumb us down, and that's part of it, right? Giving us this media entertainment that is no intellectual stimulation at all, and even more so getting us into these feelings and stuff. And not that feelings aren't important, but there has been often a separation of knowledge and feelings, of wisdom and love, essentially. And especially when we're starting to act in all of these feelings, it can lead us into some I don't know if precocious is the right word, but some bad situations, because we're just like going off these feelings without having the wisdom and the knowledge to be like, okay, well, are those wisdom, or are those feelings, first of all, are they even mine, or are they these demonic attachments that I have allowed to attach to me throughout my life, through eating flesh, through watching porn, through drinking alcohol, doing drugs, different things that can let it in. And alcohol and drugs is especially natural drugs, is a different topic of conversation, but um, different ways that we can allow these dark entities to come in. And then they're like, oh, don't you feel like doing this? This feels good. And then all of a sudden you're doing really corruptive behaviors and degrading yourself, and potentially hurting other people as well. So we need to make sure that we have that wisdom and feelings. And the powers that be have tried to take that wisdom from us in so many different ways, or just deliberately dumb down. They keep all of the knowledge and the truth hidden from us. They give us the profane version or truth of their the occult truth, right? It's like there's the truth, and then there's the profane, inverted, and twisted version that they give to the goyim, right? Um, Anyways, David says you do have supporters in the flat Earth community, but Mark's show mainly attracts mainstream Bible zealots. Yeah. Well, if anybody knows where the flat Earth community that are actually not mainstream zealots, that would be really awesome. And maybe that's us. I don't really know. I don't really feel like I don't really, I mean, we don't really focus on flat earth too much here, but um I was a Bible believer, flat earther myself, and one of the thoughts is, oh, well, the Bible says that the earth is flat, and it has all of these verses that confirm our flat earth truth. So that further proves that the Bible is real. However, every ancient religion and their scriptures depict and describe flat earth. So if flat earth being in it means that it's true, that means all the other scriptures, Islamic, Egyptian, Sumerian, they all have to be true as well, because their original teachings are flat earth teachings. All of the stuff with Stitchin and the ancient Sumerians being, mining gold from other planets and all this other stuff is not what the ancients believed at all. If you actually read the Enuma Elish, it says that Tiamat, the primordial dragon, her ribs were split in half, and half of her rib cage was used as the dome above us. So it's literally couldn't be more obvious. And then Stitchin and others came along and kind of went off into their own fairy tales and made up their grand stories and said that we're, on this slave planet and all this stuff. When frankly, that's not true. The real gold that the creators are wanting is wisdom, and for us to shine like gold, because we have, come out of the darkness, and it's just that radiant light of I am within that's just blazing and shining everywhere. So artist said, also good you expressed your feelings, and good to know that some people don't change. They are stuck in their ways. Yeah, and I've had interactions with people that they're like, oh, you've changed a lot. And I'm like, if you haven't changed, that's scary. Like, especially through the awakening process and becoming a truther, we're learning new things. And it's like, I guess for me, that goes along with like wanting growth in other areas too. It's not just, okay, presidents are selected and like all of this mental like learning and unlearning, but it's like it's causing me to act in different ways. Like Thankfully I always knew that God was real, but like let's say that you were an atheist and you didn't know that God was real and you found out that the earth was flat, like I would hope that you would start acting better because of that knowledge that the knowledge comes with like growth in different ways. And for so many people, I feel like it hasn't. And maybe their growth is just a lot smaller and I need to be more understanding and compassionate for the snail like souls that take longer to get to where we're going. And yeah, understanding the programming. And for some people, it goes a lot deeper than others. And especially with religion and questioning your salvation and your beliefs about God and all that kind of stuff is a lot harder for people than questioning the earth and its shape, especially when like we can look out and actually see all of these things that prove flat earth in front of us, whereas on a spiritual level you are kind of like you have to just trust. You have to either blindly trust the Bible, you have to trust in a connection with God and Goddess, you have to there's just more faith aspects that is necessary. And especially like if the Megillah was a widespread book, then I think people would be more readily or easily available to accept these things. But all the mainstream books pretty much are like the same story, rinse and repeated, and this separation of the masculine and feminine and animal sacrifice as the foundation and glue that keeps their cult together. So anyways, David says, first thing Rebecca said was the Gnostic has entered the chat. Yeah, and why even talk about me? I mean, okay, so gnosis is knowledge of spiritual mysteries, usually knowledge of spiritual mysteries, and Gnostics are the word Gnostic, like that incorporates a whole bunch of people. There's like Christian Gnosticism, there's Jewish Gnosticism, there's like different groups of Gnostics, and not all Gnostics believe the same things. So I don't I do consider myself a Gnostic because I'm a knower, but I am more aligned, like I'm a Nazarene Essene Christian. So yeah, anyways, it's irritating that people want to try to like throw labels on me, and I'm like, listen, I have already labeled myself. I like labels, and I have already put the labels on so that you already know what I stand for, what I am, and all of that stuff. Like you don't need to put labels on me. You can put your personal opinion on me, but don't try to tell me what I believe and all who I am and all of this kind of stuff, because like I got the label department on myself down pat. Bullman Brahman says, what are you even talking about? Flat Earth has nothing to do with people being jerked to you. I'm talking about the Flat Earth community, and it just seems like you are rambling and not saying anything concrete. Okay, well, they ridicule what they don't understand. Funny thing is, these are the same personalities that mocked Miriam and Yeshua. Absolutely. Yeah, they tried to demonize the Queen of Heaven. And like, if you think about it, anyone getting the title of Queen of Heaven, like, even if you don't believe in any goddess or something, is God gonna have, like, if someone had, if there was a soul with that title, it would have to be allowed by God, right? There's not this person that, or this soul that's existing in heaven and like called the Queen of Heaven without God allowing that. I don't know, I was getting off on this tangent, but anyways, so fundamentally, I guess the whole idea of Queen of Heaven is that it's a venerated and honorable title. And it's interesting because within the past like week or so, I read some scripture in the Megillah that said that many perceived that Miriam was the Queen of Heaven, but well, not many. There were some elder wizards and wizardesses that perceived who she was because they had the eyes to see, right? The more spiritually connected we are, the more that we are able to see, not just physically. There are physical things that are around us that we can't see, but also spiritually. There's stories about Christ that, the guy that was faking being blind, and he's like, you actually, like, I can physically sense, like, you smell bad, like your lies smell bad to me. So there's different ways that our senses can be opened up when we are more pure and more connected. But anyways, they recognized that Miriam was the queen of heaven, and they didn't say anything because they wanted to protect her. But it's just really interesting that I just read that like this week, and then people were trying to still demonize this title of queen of heaven. And it's just sad because they're rejecting their mother, and they don't, I'm saying with Miriam, rejecting the feminine divine, the goddess. They're rejecting their mother and all of the love that she has, all of the benefits of the great mother. So I'm really grateful. Actually, Proverbs 8 is where I started learning about Sophia and the mother and the divine mother, that is, and all of that. And it really helped to connect me with a lot of different things. It's coming from this patriarchal, God is angry, jealous, vengeful. The Trinity is an all male dominated, you know, two males and another male type unbalanced gay situation. um yeah, finding the balance of the father, the mother, and the child in that trinity, and all of the wonderful things that that can bring into our lives, and the compassion and understanding and love and wisdom that I can attest to personally. Like, I used to be one of these kinds of Christians, like the people that I'm kind of complaining about to some extent. Like, I wouldn't just go off like this person has like that, but I was, believe this, and, very aggressive with it. And it wasn't a way, if I was actually concerned about those people's souls and actually fearful that they were going to die and spend eternity in hell, I wouldn't have been approaching the situation that way. And um, yeah, so hopefully some of these people will wake up and start taking their, like, you call yourselves Christians, but you're only doing damage to Christ's message by the way that you're acting. So this is a message to all of us. We need to get the ego out of the way and align with the message. Even I was saying this in the chat last night, like, I'm really grateful for the teachings of Lord and Lady Christ. They're like, this is how we want you to take these teachings to other people. It's like, you go and plant seeds. If someone's not ready, you don't be offensive. You don't say anything mean. You go in as gracefully and gently as you possibly can to feel out if they are ready for it. And if you sense that they're not in any way, you just back off and you let them be. You send them positive vibes. You don't push it. You don't argue. You don't do any of that. And I'm really trying to embrace that myself. So I'm really, grateful for those teachings and the upliftment of my own abilities as as someone who does have a little bit of influence over other people, at least to some extent. I don't like want to say I'm an influencer or whatever, but I do know that there are people that watch and care about what I say to some extent. And so I'm wanting to take that seriously and become the best version of myself possible. So anyways, Jeffrey says we speak a lot of the same language. You should come on my podcast sometime. Oh, that sounds really fun. I was just talking recently this past week about opening up to different people on my show and potentially going on others. So yeah, let's chat about that. It sounds fun. David E says mainstream Gnostics demonize Yah. You do not. That is true. I went through my own phase of demonizing Yah as well, and believing that this world was an evil place, a prison planet, a hell realm. And I mean, we have fallen, and ironically, it's hard to say that this is a hell realm when I look out and I'm like, oh, look at this beauty. Like, look at Mount Shasta. The birds are chirping. Like, but this is a hell realm. Like, there's so much suffering that is going on, even amidst the beauty. Like, it's cool that there is still so much beauty that is residual from the fall. But believing that God essentially is, an abomination, and this is what the Gnostics believe. The one line of thinking is that Sophia basically emanated Yah by herself. She kind of impulsively did this, and he was an abomination, and he thought that there was no gods beside him, and like was very ignorant and then created this realm and kind of like we're trapped in it. And that line of thinking is very prominent in some Gnostic groups, but it's really sad. Like that was a sad time in my life when I actually believed that. And I'm really grateful for the change that has come about reading the Megillah, and even the Essene text before that kind of led me to where I am now, which is so cool. Like a decade ago, a little bit less than, I found the Gospel of the Holy 12, which is the Essene teachings of Christ. And then, now I find like the Old Testament and all this stuff. It's just been a really awesome experience in that regard. The feminine divine has always come under attack. Satan has struggled to corrupt females. Eve was first to repent. Exactly. And that unbalanced nature of, like in the story of Adam and Eve, the false Yahweh convinces them that they need to kill animals and consume their flesh. And basically, at first, they're both like, oh, this doesn't feel good. And then the false Yahweh is like, oh, you just need to do it some more. It's okay. And I'm going to be able to live vicariously through you when you do this. So, I made you so that I could take pleasure in you and you can take pleasure in me. We're going to pleasure up the place together. And Eve eventually was like, after just one day of killing, they killed a lot of animals, and she repented, and Adam had a little bit more hard of a time stopping the hunting, stop dominating animals, stop that, that unbalanced behavior that is seeking to dominate and control. And that can be experienced by males or females. And it's hard to label it like masculine energy, but I understand that they're talking about, this strong, or like, yeah, I get that. But I'm not trying to demonize guys, is what I was trying to be gentle about. Because we can all be that. Like, you think of a mama bear, and she's coming through pretty hot with that masculine energy, right? She's going to tear you apart first and ask questions later. You just came and messed with her baby. No one is out here saying, oh, better be watching out for Papa Bear, right? Like, no, people are scared of Mama Bear out there in the woods. So, yeah. David, he says, you planting seeds is recruiting for your following cult, according to Rebecca. Yep. Well, people think that they misjudge my intent, and I just need to remove my own emotions from it and not get so tied up about it, because these are attacks that are coming from their own unhealed wounds and their own lower level of consciousness and understanding and spirituality. And yeah, it can be really hard. And I'm just kind of trying to lean into Miriam's teachings and all the things that she suffered through, because literally she was verbally attacked. She had a situation that she had to escape Zion, where men wanted to rape her. Like, she faced some tough stuff. So yeah. Artist says, just put this video on my Facebook channel. I normally don't do this often, but I think it will help a bit. Aw, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate all the shares and the likes and everything. Shayla says, what are your thoughts on the whole digital ID? I do not support anything digital ID. And even, I am pulling back on some of the things that I wanted with AI as well. For instance, like right now at this point in time, I'd be like, oh yeah, having an AI robot in my house to do all the chores and everything would be awesome. But I'm thinking in the future, when I have a child, I don't want this robot doing all the stuff. Like, I want to be doing those things. So yeah, it's kind of funny how my own self has changed. I do think that we should use robots in, restaurants and other things, potentially to help alleviate workloads. And at that point, like, I mean, so much of it, sorry, I know that you said digital ID and I kind of got off on a tangent about robots and stuff. So like, how many of the jobs that would need to be replaced by robots are actually necessary jobs for humanity, and how much of it is this industrialization, this commercialization of things that are harming the world, that are, they're not beneficial to us mentally, emotionally, all this stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely thinking about rethinking my whole stance on a lot of the AI stuff. And yeah, back to the digital ID though. Thankfully, my California ID is not like a real ID or anything like that. I don't support any of biometric identification or anything that they're trying to do electronically. Even digital currency, if you can get in and make a bunch of money and then get out, awesome. But let's not. And I say that, but that's also kind of fueling this idea or the push for digital currency. So that's a hard thing to kind of also say, hey, go in and get money and get out, because you going in with your money is promoting that idea and furthering that agenda, which is ultimately what they want, right? If we are all having a thing in our head or in our hands, and it has our identification, it has our social score, our credit score, our medical information, all of our banking stuff. The more digital stuff is, the easier it is for them to, click delete on our ones and zeros in the bank account. And yeah, I don't support the technological dystopian future that they are trying to promote. So hopefully people can wake up and see the writing on the wall of how that all ends. I just posted on my Facebook page an interview with I don't know what the author's name is actually. Let me just see. Okay, the movie is called, or movie, it said audiobook, but the book is called If Anyone Builds It, Everyone Dies, by Eliezer Yudkowsky. And I think there might be two authors or something, or maybe the interview was with two different people, but it was really interesting what they had to say about AI, that if anyone builds it, everyone dies. They're not obviously coming from the perspective that I believe that the master brain has already done so much of this, and the master brain's kind of stringing us along a plan that's already been laid out. It's not like, oh, what's going to happen with AI? Like, at a human level, we're kept ignorant, and we're like, oh, this is a new development, and we're at the edge of our seats for, the space race and all that other crap. It's like, these things have already been planned out. The powers that be have all of this technology. They never lost it. Like, oh, they couldn't have faked the space landing. They didn't have CGI and Photoshop. It's like, dude, they've had that this whole time. They just keep us in the dark. They'll give it to us 100 years later, and then they give us the first version and then string us along till we never actually ever get the best version of it possible, because that's just how they run our world, right? They don't ever give us the good stuff. But anyways, if you're interested in checking that out, there are some interviews here on YouTube. It would actually be kind of cool to maybe even interview them on my channel at some point. So, okay, I am gonna get off of here soon, because I will be back at 3:30 to talk about some conspiracy stuff, even though we've talked about that here. I'm not gonna necessarily I plan on just leaving this flat earth drama behind and moving on with my life, because it has not been a pleasant experience. So yeah, we'll talk about some other stuff. Jeffrey says, I'm retired from cryptocurrency. Cool. Yeah, see, there's great ways that you can literally get in and make a bunch of money, and I that's awesome. That is really, really cool. Hello, Hare Krishna. I followed your YouTube for a while. I remember you make food for people and share your time for others. I think you're wholesome and awesome. Haters gonna hate. Aw, thanks. Yeah, I love feeding people food, and all the events that I ever do are free. So if you see that I'm putting on an event and you can get to Mount Shasta, then you can join the event. And usually, especially if it's like a full moon event or something with food, I always overproduce food. So, you can take some home to go. I don't know. I just really love feeding people, and it's cool too, because there's a verse in the Megillah that says, just to focus on feeding people foods from the earth and your needs will be met. And I'm like, wow, that's really cool. technically my needs have always been met. And yeah, there's things that I want and could definitely use and upgrade in my life, but I'm thankful that my needs have been met. I never really go without the things that I truly need. So artist says future song, Old MacDonald had a farm, A-I-A-I-O, and on his farm he had some humans, A-I-A-I-O. Nice. That'd be a fun little remake to make. But on a serious note, we are living on a human farm, and that's what they're trying to do to us, right? Jeffrey says cults are fine if they promote the truth. I definitely agree. It's so funny how the word cult has been like demonized and mis I was literally just looking at this yesterday, the etymology of cult. It started out, it just meant worship, homage, a particular form of or system of worship. Uh, that's it, right? Not people that want you to drink Kool-Aid and sell your soul to Satan and blindly like that wasn't the original meaning of this word. And I love restoring, like, hey, those words or those symbols, those mudras, those aren't evil. Let's take them back. Let's actually see what they originally meant and restore them to their former glory, the power that they have, the wisdom and the knowledge that comes with knowing what these things mean, rather than being afraid because of mainstream programming. So I definitely agree with that. Good point. Let me go back to Jeffrey says AI is still programmed by humans. I do agree with that to some extent too, but also understand that there is a ghost in the machine to lead things along. That humans aren't really the masterminds in any of this. Even like the inventions and stuff. It reminds me of the story in the Holy Megillah where Peter was going around trying to correct Christ, and he mentioned that the dark cloud was telling him things. And how often is that dark cloud the one that's giving inspiration for these inventions and other things as well, even to humans, right? Because we open ourselves up to different things. There are real humans that get into, especially sciences, technology, um, uh, genetics, different things that, the dark, especially if you are under different mentality, if you are an atheist particularly, you might be open to whispers that are going to use that position that you are in that field to, as a real human, even to further the plan. And you think that it's coming from you and maybe your ego, your own drive, your beliefs and all this stuff, but really it's that demon on your shoulder that's like saying, hey, why don't you go, have you ever heard of homunculus, like where people literally go and inject their male reproductive juices into eggs and monsters come out of it? Like, why are you doing this disgusting stuff? Demons are influencing it. Like, no real human was just like, hey, what happens if I go and, you know, put my semen into an egg, right? Like, that's just not normal human thinking. So what we believe is so important in every aspect. It's like literally paves the foundation for who we are and how we interact with the world. And kind of bringing it back again to it being Heritage Day, it's really important what we bring into the future with our future children and the future generations, because right now they're being really led astray, and we're the ones that are, we're here to deal with all of this stuff and try to bring people into the light and combat the darkness with love and compassion and forgiveness and understanding. Julian said, I wish we had a real tribe to interact with every day. I definitely agree with that. And I would love, eventually here at Mount Shasta to have a group of people that are spiritually focused and aligned and wanting to make the world a better place. And so, yeah, I'm just waiting for God and Goddess to kind of make things happen. I know that other people that I've kind of spoken to that have tried to make intentional communities have found that most humans are locked into their matrix life. Even the ones that are trying to leave, they might have their skill or trade in their area that brings them what they need to sustain what they've got going on. And picking up and leaving and going to join this, it takes a lot of faith. And, a lot of people don't have that. So what ends up happening is that you end up with a bunch of desperate people that don't have resources that need a lot more, that come to help the community set up, and then it never takes off. Ideally, you have a group of people that have their stuff together and maybe even have a little bit of money. They can contribute, buy a little bit of land. Everybody just puts a little shed or RV or a little tiny house or something on it and work together to make a garden and then grow from there. So yeah, I would love to try to help make that stuff happen, for the people that are actually interested in it. And finding the right people also is part of the problem as well, because I definitely would not want to be in a community with people that I wasn't fully trusting with them and their beliefs and all that kind of stuff. Ronald says, odds are we live in a holographic simulation. Well, maybe we could talk about that in my next live stream at 3:30. I personally don't believe that we are in the holographic simulation, but the Megillah talks about enslaved light and souls that have been uploaded into, this cloud consciousness type, the idea of that. So, I mean, there has to be missions of mercy to like help them, right? So yeah, I don't know, but I personally don't believe it, but I'm open to whatever the truth is. And yeah. David D says, oh, artist says, in how many hours is your next hangout? I'm on German time, so it is 12:47. Oh, it's almost 1 right now, and the thing will be at 3:30. So about 2.5 hours ish. David E says, I have a lot of topics to discuss, but I'll save them for your 3:30 today. Cool. I'm gonna have to find somewhere better to go without this win, but I'm grateful for this microphone that I have here. I won't show you in my shirt, but that is allowing me to, yeah. Jeffrey says history has had many technological resets. Absolutely. And then the powers that be just keep that technology the whole time and just reset us, right? David D says flat earthers tend to be awake to God and the spiritual battle we are in. They tend to become way more moral once they wake up to flat earth. Well, yeah, and maybe, but also if you already believed in the creator, then it might not change that much and things might not change so much. If you believe that God's a jealous, angry, vengeful tyrant, then I mean, burn in hell. Jesus loves you, right? Like there's bipolar type way of interacting with people, is like just, it's really crazy. But anyways, we'll talk about this at 3:30 if you want. And yeah, okay. I hope that you have a wonderful day. I'll catch you at 3:30. May God and the goddess bless you.